Thank you for joining Immigrants Making an Impact, Rana Salman. Please introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, my name is Rana Salman. First of all, thank you for having me, Mame. I am excited to be here and to talk to your listeners. My name is Rana Salman. I lead Salman Consulting, and what we do is we work with organizations to elevate their sales team and improve their sales performance through strategy, sales strategy, process, and training. My journey has been where I guess I do have my PhD. It's been a lot of focus on growth, education, and also serving others.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. In this community, we are really passionate about growth. So we want to learn more from you. So take us through, how did your immigrant journey start?
Yeah, great question. Mame, the first 11 years of my life, I was raised in Beirut, Lebanon. And during that time, the country was in the middle of civil war. So my parents wanted to give us a safe place we can call home, a better life. I think all of us immigrants have these type of stories where our family somehow they sacrificed a lot and somehow they brought us to a better place. And so we came to the United States, and there were opportunities to go after our dreams, and through that we learned, we got our education, we worked really hard, and we're here today.
Okay, I think that you have given us a summary. So as we
You want
go,
more?
as we go, we are going to try and get more out of you. So you got to the United
Absolutely.
States at the age of 11 or 12?
Yes, about 1991, I believe.
So when you got here, how was it like? Did you already speak English? So with your growth process and education, how did it start?
Yeah, great question. So I did know English when, in Lebanon, we're raised to be multilingual and even some trilingual. So I came here with the knowledge of English. I started in grade school, and I struggled though, Mame, because I didn't know the school system. My parents didn't know the school system. So it was a bit challenging to fit in, to understand the slangs. I would have people ask me what's up, right? And in the United
Mm.
States, when you say what's up, you answer, hey, it's great. I'm doing well. I used to actually look up because I'm like, what do you mean up? There's nothing up.
Oh.
Or some slangs such as break a leg. To me, I was like, I don't want to break my leg. And so so learning through the culture and learning through what does the school system look like, learning through, how do I fit in, how do I engage with making friends, how do I how do I dress in the way that is that fits with my friends. So it was, the first few years was kind of like a struggle. And then I started, I lived in a small town in Kansas, and it's filled with amazing people,
Mm.
people that really want to help. And I was fortunate to meet amazing teachers that really were my mentors and made sure that if I don't understand something, they're there to help me. I also had great circle of friends that also were curious to learn more about my culture, but they really accepted me. And so so the first 4 or 5 years or 6 years, so I finished high school, I got to learn about more about the American culture, but I also got to also learn about how kind people are and
Mm.
how they were lending hands to our family to help us get where they're at. I was very fortunate that I won an award called the Young American Award in high school, where it was given to me, and I still had my green card. I wasn't a citizen yet. But they chose me because they saw the hard work, they saw the hunger, they saw how much, I've worked hard to do good in my schooling. And that to me is a testament of the beauty of also people and humans,
Mm.
and how kind they can be and how they can lift you up. We always hear in the news about bad things happening, but I do believe that there's a lot of goodness. And I'm an example of that community that helped me rise. So after high school, I went to undergraduate, and I went actually to a community college. I was raised with when we came here, we had to start over, so we didn't have a lot. And so I had to go to a community college and then save my money and then go to and then go complete my education in a 4-year university in the United States. And all of that I really focused on. I knew education was key, mommy. My family, when they came here, my dad and mom instilled in us that knowledge is power, that no one can take away your education. You earn it and it's yours, and you can use it to open doors and to change lives. And so in high school, in college, I studied a lot. I studied a lot. I was a nerd. I was in the library. My entertainment was to go to the library because I knew that was my way out. And I knew that I can do it, because when you immigrate to a country like the United States and other countries where there are opportunities, you want to make sure that you give it your all, because it's not going to just come to you. You got to have the discipline. You got to have the hard work. So I did that in my undergrad, finished my 2-year community college, then went to a 4-year degree, finished that 4-year degree. And then I decided, okay, I want to work. So I started working, and then I was hungry to learn, because I love to learn. And I thought, okay, well, what if I get my MBA? And I went and got my MBA, and then I was finished with my MBA and I was working. And then I said, okay, well, what about my PhD? What if I can learn even more and I can use this to help people? And that's where I ended up getting my PhD, and in really learning how to research and to be unbiased, and how to look at learning in a lens of being curious, all about curiosity, and trying to find not necessarily just one-sided answer, but trying to look at things in different ways. And so that's kind of my journey in my academic journey.
Wonderful. And listening to you, you talked about your struggle in the beginning, but through that, you were able to receive mentorship, and you had a circle of friends who helped you to get to where you are. And of course, you talked about your hard work and your passion for growth. Thank you for sharing all these things. My question for you will be that, so during your struggle and having mentorship and friends who were able to help you, how were you able to nurture these friendships and people who were mentoring you? Because many times, many people, or many of us, we know that we need mentors, we need friends, but we are not able to nurture these relationships. We don't know how to go about them.
Great question. I think for me, I learned, when I say nurture, I'm connected with the people through LinkedIn, and keep in touch with some people. Of course, with life and with growth and with family, you lose touch with some people. But I nurture relationships, and I've built new relationships, Mame, because to me, it's really important as we get older that we also pay it forward. So I've built a network of people in my profession that have helped me, but as well as I am also giving back. And this is the importance of networking for your audience. You want to make sure that when you are networking, that you're also giving as much back as they're giving back to you. And in developing friendships and developing networks, you want to understand first, what is your intention? Like what are you, why do you want a mentor? What's your goal? What's your objective? And then you want to identify, well, who can help me? Like, who can help me achieve my goals? And what do I want out of that mentorship? Because it is in your control, right? And then you identify folks, and you may go on LinkedIn and you may see, okay, well, I need a mentor in learning how to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I found some people that I am not connected with, but maybe someone else is connected with that can introduce me to them. Now, when you find that, so that's the first challenge, is having the courage to ask. And I think sometimes we are, and look, I'm raised, I'm an immigrant. I'm raised with parents that are immigrants. I'm raised with parents that have thick accents, right? And sometimes we're afraid to take that next steps of asking. We're afraid of communicating. Are we communicating the right way? And I would say, put that aside. People want to help you if you show good intentions, if you have given them a compelling reason of why you want to have a conversation with them. And when you meet with these folks, you want to also make sure that you're organized, you're prepared, you have a goal. You're also asking them, what help are you looking for? You don't want to waste people's time. And so that's the first thing that I would say is look at your current network. See if you're connected with someone that you aspire to be like, that in your career. Maybe you're right now an account executive in sales, and maybe you want to be a director. Is there someone in your company that you're working with that you aspire to be like them, that they are in that director position? Can you engage with them and ask them if they can mentor you on specific skill set? And are you prepared to also receive constructive feedback? Because mentoring is also about, I want your feedback, mommy. I want you to tell me that, Reina, hey, here's my question. And I ask you a question. I want you to be honest with me. And so are you ready to take that constructive feedback?
Mm. That is so sweet. I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying it too. Thank you for the great questions.
All right. So now you have received your education. You have gone through a secondary school. I think in the US it is called high school. You have gone through the university and you have gone along for your master's. Amazing. And of course, your PhD. That is wonderful. So after that, of course,
Yeah.
I knew that you set out to make an impact. You set out to help people. What is your line of work? What do you do with it?
Great question. So I work with organizations. Every organizations typically have, they sell something, right? They have to make revenue. So they're either selling a service, a solution, a product, a software, SaaS-based solutions, and or they sell to even consumers. What I do is I work with organizations that have sales people and they sell to the business to business, so they sell to other businesses. I work with them on ways to train their salespeople on how to sell better. And I base it based on my experience. I've been in sales and marketing for the last 20 years. And I've learned how to sell from my experience and also from seeing how top performers are doing it around the world. I was blessed and fortunate that I got to travel all around the world to teach sellers how to sell value, how to sell to a human being. And 7 years ago, I decided, okay, maybe now it's time for me to go on my own. And that's when I opened my company. And now I work with organizations, hyper growth organizations and large organizations to help their sellers improve their sales effectiveness. And so that's kind of in a summary what I do. So think about, like, for example, training. For example, if a rep cannot sell what we call value, or they can't generate leads, how do I help them in generating leads? How do I help them in prospecting, in landing these sales meeting, in closing these deals? What does that process look like? And what are some of the training that needs to go around it to up-level their skill sets? And usually it's the companies that are hiring me to help their salespeople.
That is amazing. I mean, when we set out to set up companies, the ultimate is to make money and also make an impact. So if we want to sell, then we really need your services. So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. And I tell you, Mame, this is a great, segue to making sure that your listeners, as they're listening to this, that no matter what they do, they need to learn how to sell. Because at the end of the day, we are all selling something. You may be selling an idea to your boss. You may be selling, you may need a bigger budget and you're trying to ask your boss for a bigger budget, or you want to hire a new person, or you may even be looking for a job right now in this hard market. At the end of the day, you're selling an idea in the first example. The second one is you're trying to influence your boss to show them that, hey, if you give me a bigger budget, I can help achieve more of what you asked me to do. And then last, with the job market, you're selling yourself. Now you are the product, right? To how you show up in these meetings, how you find these prospects, how you engage in these conversations, how you influence the behavior. All of that is fundamental. And that is part of selling. And what we teach is, how do I build that connection?
Absolutely. How do I build that connection and then ultimately sell to them?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So as we are going on, I can see that you have achieved a lot and you have really worked hard towards it. Looking at all your achievements, I believe that it did not come easy. So let's pause and reflect. How has your immigrant journey been so far? Tell us about the ups and downs. What are some of the challenges that you went through as an immigrant, and how did you overcome them to get to where you are?
Well, great question. So I was, you know, I don't know if it's lucky, but I was fortunate that I came here at a younger age, right? So my
Mm-hmm.
challenges were at a younger age versus I became an adult because I fit into the culture as I got older. So some of the challenges I faced date back to my early years where I had to figure it out, right? Like my parents were not raised in the school system. English was their second language. So I missed several opportunities because I just didn't know. And then you look at all these college standard tests. I don't know if you all have them, in different, if your listeners have experienced that, but in the US, there are college standard tests that we take. To me, it was awful, mommy, because I didn't have the resources to have tutors or to even learn how to study. So I struggled there. Now, granted, I did have amazing teachers that helped me and I was able to overcome that. And the way I overcame that is I never gave up. I think this is something that immigrants have in them. The more I was pushed down, the harder I pushed up. And one of my competitive advantages that I learned from my parents, you learn through modeling, through behavior. I had great parents that showed me that working hard is a competitive differentiator. So my competitive edge over others is that I can outwork a lot of people. I'm not afraid of working hard. Not saying that this is for everyone to do. And so that's where I worked hard to overcome my challenges. I also overcame challenges by learning. I am not afraid to say, I don't know this, right? Like, I don't know it. I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to ask for feedback. And I think this is what I want your listeners. I hope they can hear what I'm saying here is don't be afraid to say, you know what, I don't know, but I want to learn. I want to learn because that's how you're going to grow. You make a mistake, you look at that mistake and ask yourself, okay, what did I learn from it? And sometimes, man, we do stupid mistakes, right? And it's hard to look back, but just going through this journey and saying, what did I learn from it? And how can I not do it the next time around? Because that's how you're going to grow as a person and as a human. And that goes in your personal and your professional life.
Absolutely amazing. So you have talked about hard work and the fact that we do not have to be afraid to say that we do not know, and then we can ask for help, and then we have to be ready to want to learn.
Yes. Because, hey, you make the first mistake, it's awesome. But if you do the same mistake the second or third time, shame on you, right? So that you got to be also accountable to be like, okay, I want to learn, I want to grow.
Of course. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk about the difference that you are making with sales. Just as you said, we are selling every day. So we have to be masters of sales. We have to be masters of how to sell. Talk about the difference that you are making through your teachings, your presentations, how you are helping companies, B2Bs, as an immigrant.
Great question. Look, every day I wake up after my run, I'm a runner. So after I run, I face every day with the same mentality of I'm here to help. I'm here to serve my customers. And so I feel every day I am on calls with my buyers, with my customers, with my sellers. I am there to serve them and to help them. And that requires me really actively listening to their needs, actively listening to their pains, and then sharing with them solutions of how can I help you. And that's part of serving, right? In any job you do, if you have that mentality that I am here to help, I am here to serve my customers. Your customers could be your internal customers. You could have customers within your company that you're serving, but it could be your external customers as well. So that's one way. Another way, Mommy, is I am a co-founder of a networking group called WISE, Women in Sales Enablement. And Women in Sales Enablement is a place where we bring women that do sales enablement, that enable sellers from all around the world. We bring them to learn, grow, and celebrate one another. And this is also a passion of mine to make sure that we bring people together, that we bring to help them grow, to give back, and to pay it forward. Because, man, I was helped a lot growing up, right? So it's important to also look at it from also a non-monetary perspective and say, how am I also giving back? as you can, right? As you progress in your career and you get to a place where you can do that. Another thing that I also do is I volunteer at Texas A&M. It's a college in the United States, and there's some, they have some divisions abroad as well, specifically for their sales program, where I share with their students. I do some guest speaking where I share with their students sales best practices. And I also take part in their sales role play exercises and provide them feedback. So I try to make time where I also go back to the college to young students that are also start trying to get into sales and that are learning sales through their college programs, amazing college programs. And I want to also provide them some advice and some feedback as well.
That is graceful. And Rana, please don't forget to tell us about your wonderful book that you sent me a copy. Thank you for that. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. This book is, I wanted to write a book about the essentials of selling. And I wanted to make sure that anyone in the world, Mame, that has that can take it and learn some of these best practices that I learned. And so the book talks about, hey, what is selling in a B2B environment? And also, what are some of the essentials? What do you need to do before a sales call, during a sale, and after a sale? So I walk you through specific topics, specific actions, specific tools that you can use to help you in closing that deal and then also expanding that deal. And so it's really important to me that anyone that picks this book, no matter where they are in the world, that they can read it and say, oh, wow, I've learned something. And wow, Rana showed me that if she can do it, I can do it. And that's I hope folks will take that away and use it as a reference guide. So what that means is that before your sales call, open that book, right? 15 minutes before your sales call, open that book and go specifically to a topic that you're going to be discussing or that it's going to be part of your sales process. And for example, if you're going to your first discovery call, first initial sales meeting with the buyer, there's a specific chapter around that. And so I want you to go to that chapter. I want you to scan it, look at the best practices, and then put it away, go do your business, come back, and then maybe you need to show a demo at the next meeting. Go to that demo chapter, bring in that information that I taught you, and then apply it, and then put that book away. So more of a reference guide. It's written in a way that is easy to consume. It's written with stories because, again, the first chapter is about how I learned how to sell with my dad in Lebanon, right? I was 9 years old. I went on a sales call with him. And so I bring in also my background and my experience because I think also we got to be authentic and we got to be also proud of our experience because that experience, the ups and downs, that's what made us who we are today.
Thank you for your book. And please share with us, where can we find your book to buy? We need it.
Thank you. So it is on Amazon, Sales Essentials. It's also in Barnes and Nobles as well. You can order all these online. And so it's out there.
Absolutely. I'm going to share it in the show notes later.
Thank you.
And I have a question for you, an amazing one. So Rana, what would you do if you knew you cannot fail?
Oh, this is such a great question. So if I were in a situation where failure was impossible, I think I would take the opportunity to push my boundaries and pursue like some of my audacious goals. First and foremost, I think I'd want to make a meaningful impact on the world. And I know it sounds cheesy, but if I knew we cannot fail, I think the one thing that I would work on is promoting education in underserved communities and further using technology to give those communities access to education. I do believe that the minute you bring education into a community, it can change generations, it can change lives, and to truly give access to people in underserved communities, the same opportunities to give them, that will help make an impact on the world. However, Mommy, it's important to note, I think that failure is a natural part of growth and learning. Like without the possibility of failure, the journey towards success lacks that valuable lessons that setbacks often provide us. I think failure teaches resilience, it teaches adaptability, and also the importance of perseverance. So yeah, well, the idea of guaranteed success is yay, it's enticing. I recognize the value of challenges and the opportunities they bring for growth, because if I have to ask you about some of the successes you've had, you're going to also reflect on some of the failures that you learned from to get you there. And that means those successes become so much more valuable because you know what failure also feels like. So that's kind of how I'm answering it.
It is so cool because I've never had a guest who took us through both sides, and you are brilliant, Rana.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, Rana, I would encourage you to go ahead, start something about this dream of yours to serve underprivileged communities with education. I think it's possible.
I think everything is possible, right?
Of course. So
the
what
right mindset and the discipline and the hard work and some luck.
So what is the most important thing that you will do today to make tomorrow better?
I think, helping salespeople up level their skill sets and be better sellers is something that I aspire to do every day through my training, through my strategy sessions with customers, and also through sharing on LinkedIn. I share information about sales every week, make sure that the community gets some of these best practices. And so those are some of the things that I'm doing every day, because consistency matters, right? If you are trying to change, do something good, not consistently, just, once every blue moon, where change happens is when there is consistency. And I try to be consistent in terms of how I serve my customers.
Wonderful. And I will call upon you guys, my community, to get on LinkedIn right now and then go and search for Rana Salman, and then let's follow her and then learn.
Love it. And yes, and let me know, folks, if you want to connect with my network, mention this podcast so I can also connect with you as well. And yeah, let's connect, let's learn. And also, if you're not, on social media, if you're not using social networking sites like LinkedIn for your business, where your customers are at, make sure you are doing that, because you got to go where your buyers are at. So if your buyers are on Instagram, if you're selling to businesses, they're most likely are on LinkedIn. Make sure that you're building your professional brand.
That is a pro tip. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
So Rana, what advice would you give to immigrants?
I love immigrants. So let me talk to you. First advice: don't let anyone tell you can't go after what you want. You can. I live in a country in the United States that gives these opportunities. And I know that there's a lot of places around the world that also give these opportunities. Now, it does require, though, hard work. It requires discipline. It requires grit. And of course, there's some luck. So it's not just like, hey, I want to be X, Y, and Z, and that's it. No, there's work to be done to put in it to get where you want. There's a lot of people that talk, but what separates people that talk from people that are successful is people that are successful, they execute. They go after it and they put in the time and the discipline and the grit, and they achieve it. Second advice: build your network. I mentioned that. Your network is your net worth. And build it and nurture it. Make sure that when you meet people, connect with them on LinkedIn, start following them, start nurturing these relationships. Third advice: learn how to sell. I mentioned it several times. At the end of the day, all of us are salespeople. And if you own a small business, if you own a large business, if you are in an organization where you're trying to sell your idea, you're trying to sell your value, you need to learn how to influence people. Fourth advice, as I mentioned earlier, ask for help. And when I say ask for help, make sure that you're prepared. And when you're asking for help, it's relevant, and that you show you're genuinely wanting help in certain topics that will help you grow. I always say, when you don't ask, you may be missing out. One thing that I always say is also, when you ask for help, make sure that you have done your homework, and that when you're reaching out for someone with a question, maybe you see them posting something on LinkedIn that compelled you to reach out to them. And so mention that. Say, hey, you posted something really good about X, Y, and Z, and it compelled me to reach out to you because I do have a genuine question. And so that's where you can also show the other person that you've done your homework. You're not just asking for help without doing some of the connection, the human connection.
Thank you. It's time to invite our community to support you. Are there any projects you are doing that you want us to know about?
Yeah, thank you. So you mentioned my book. I just published my sales book, Sales Essentials, with an amazing publisher, one of the top 3 publishers in the world, McGraw-Hill. And I am very blessed that it has made it to #1 new release in the business sales category on Amazon several times.
Congratulations.
I hope your viewers, yeah. I hope your viewers check it out. And folks, tell me what you think. Reach out to me and tell me what you think. And also for all the sales leaders and executives that are listening to your podcast, Mame, sales kickoff season is here. This is worldwide kickoff that every year organizations usually bring their salespeople in, and they train them, motivate them, inspire them. Make sure if you all need help, reach out to me. You can find my website at www.salmanconsulting.com, or you can reach out through LinkedIn, of course.
Thank you. So finally, Rana, please complete this sentence for us. Immigrants are
a true picture of resilience, turning challenges into opportunities, enriching cultures, and inspiring us with their hope and perseverance.
So sweet. Thank you so much, Rana, for joining Immigrants Making an Impact, the podcast. We are glad you came, and we are thankful.
Absolutely. I am thankful for you, and I'm thankful for your community. And folks, keep dreaming big.